Chess is a game of concentration and skill. Some may consider chess old-fashioned, but it's alive and well in Broome County this weekend. Today was the 5th annual Broome County Chess Tournament in Binghamton. Players from across the area stared at their pieces, calculating the right move. The tournament organizer calls today's turnout decent, but he says he misses the days when the competition was full.
But for sit-down tournaments like this, it's hurt the numbers a little bit because people can play online, but it's still the most popular game in the world, still.
The youngest player in the tournament was Raymond Wong. He's an 11-year-old from Ithaca. He isn't ranked yet, but his competitors say he's one of the best in the area and a player to watch in the coming year.
Well, folks, another great tournament. The 2015 Tradewise Gibraltar Chess Festival being played in Gibraltar. Unbelievable scenery. Gibraltar is an amazing place, amazing place. World-class players, one of the top-rated opens in the world. Karl Nakamura, Topalov, ex-world champion, Huey Fan, you name it, they're there. Oh, a whole lot of English players, you name it, they're all over the world. And they all come here to Gibraltar once a year for the Gibraltar Chess Festival 2015. From January 26th to February 15th, 2015. Don't miss any of these great games. John Cordisco here with another game from the Gibraltar Chess Festival, the Masters section. This is the third game in my 3-game series. I call my All-American Day. All 3 of my highlighted games from the tournament or I have American players. Guys I usually don't feature here. Of course, Karl Nakamura. He's always on here. And a game from Alexander Lenderman. And I talked to Alex a couple times briefly at tournaments. I saw him at the U.S. Open in Madison, Wisconsin. He's a great player, a really good player. He played in the U.S. Open. He is white. And Dennis Wagner, I believe Dennis is from Germany. 25-23 rated for Wagner and 26-14 for Lenderman. It's going to be an exchange Grunfeld. Lenderman white, Wagner black. Let's get to it. We've all seen this a couple of million times on the Grunfeld. This is Peter Fiddler's favorite opening. I should say he's an expert on it. C6, the bishop comes back. Castles, knight e2, b5, and the bishop goes back to b3. That's a good spot. Baron right down on the black king. a5, looking to push the bishop out. And h4, that's interesting. And that's the computer's move as well. One of the computer moves. They're all close in score. h4, castles, bishop e3. Alex decided to go h4. Marching this pawn down and try to bust up black's kingside. Now I'm going to say that this game gets a little crazy. So let's see how this turns out. a4, hitting the bishop again. The bishop goes back to c2. c5, a lot of pawn moves, a lot of pawn moves. Rook to b1, b4, trying to gain some space. d5, now it gets crazy, right? Look, we got 2 pawns on the 5th rank and 1 on the 4th rank already, and we're on move 14. Pawn takes. I'm not so sure about that. The computer likes that, but it also likes knight to a6, which I like too. I think that's worth considering, knight a6 for Wagner. Queen to a5 is also good. He played pawn takes, h5. Now, he didn't take right away, of course, because it's being guarded by the bishop, but how much longer can black hold that pawn? e6. Bishop to e3. Now the pawn gets hit. The backward pawn on c5. Knight a6, finally. Give you an idea, the computer liked takes, bishop, rook e8, bishop d4, takes, 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 king takes, knight takes, bishop checks, king d2, bishop h5, and bishop takes. That was the sequence with a pawn take. It's amazing how much stuff can happen in one pawn take. a3, stopping the knight from going to b4. Interesting though, the computer thought maybe h6 could be considered, and after bishop h8, d6. And that is interesting. It certainly is jamming the pawns down black's throat. But after a3, pawn takes, queen d6. Now, that little flurry there, the last 3 or 4 moves, it was about a third of pawn advantage for white. Now it's about a half a pawn advantage for black. And that quickly, I think Alex is losing the grip on the game here. He's not lost by any means. H takes. Now I was really surprised on this, and the computer actually agrees with this move. It goes against all the principles. Usually take with the H pawn, always take towards the center. But he took with the F pawn. Interesting. Knight G3. Knight C7, get the knight, hit the pawn on D5. What to do, what to do. Now, this is an interesting move coming up here. See if you can find it. Just pause the video now and see if you can take... It's quite an extraordinary move for white. Pause the video now and see what white's going to do. Give you a chance to stop the video, so do that now. And it is the #1 move on the computer. Rook takes h7. What to do, what to do? We all know what's going to happen if king takes. Bishop a6. Give you an idea if he had taken with a king. King takes, queen checks, king g8, bishop takes. And black's in trouble. How's he going to protect those light squares around his king? He can't. And I'll tell you the truth, even sweeter is this queen guards the pawn. But he went bishop a6, rightfully so. He moved the rook right back. Now, for you beginners out there, white can't castle now. Even though the pieces are in place, he's already moved the rook. Even if back in the original square, he still can't castle. Knight takes. Bishop takes. And this is where I think Wagner was maybe had Lenderman on the ropes. And what he does is he takes the bishop. Now it's dead even again. Give you an idea. C2 was the move. Bishop checks. King f7. Check. King e7. And the rest you can figure out. Bishop g5 check. But after queen takes g6, queen takes d5 check. Gives up the knight. Queen f7. Dead even now and score. Queen e4. Rook hits the queen. Queen checks. King comes over. Rook a5. Threatening rook here. Pitting the queen against the king. Bishop f6 to stop that. Queen checks. Bishop g7 hitting the queen. Queen goes to h7 again with the same trap. Bishop f6. Looks drawn. Oh, queen to b6. Lenderman's trying. BB's pushing too hard. Queen takes. Rook takes. Bishop d4. Nice. White can't take, of course, because retakes connects his double pass pawns, connected pass pawns. Now, I think this is where Alex miscues. Knight f5, I think, was a reasonable move, and not that hard to find. He played king over. He got a little panicky. King to d1, and that's a big problem. Score down is almost 2-point advantage for black. Bishop d3. Boy, that white king looks hemmed in. And again, I think under pressure, Alex miscues. Plays bishop takes. Wow, wow, wow. Check the intermezzo move, or the in-between move. Now, bishop takes rook. Blacks up the exchange, but a lot more than that. Bishop takes. King to g8. Bishop. And rook a to d8 check. And that's where Alex Lenderman from the United States, great player, resigns. There's not much he can do on the next moves. King comes here. Rook to d6 is best move. Rook takes, bishop takes, rook e1. Comes out the same. If king takes, queen. So Alex gave it up. Tough break for Alex Lenderman. Anyway, folks, that's the third game from my, I'll call it my All-American trifecta. That's a term in horse racing, where we get the top 3 winners. All-American Day today. And as I always say at the end of all my videos, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Chess has become a way of life for these avid players. The 4th annual Francis Cordisco Memorial Chess Championship drew about a dozen men from across the state this weekend to compete for a $1,000 prize. Competitors say although it doesn't sound or look like much is going on when you're watching, they say the players are actually burning calories from thinking so hard and are also learning skills that will help them succeed outside of this weekend's tournament.
It helps you with your concentration, it helps you make decisions, and it helps you to realize that actions have consequences, both good and bad.
Chess in the grammar schools is what really should happen a lot more. And it engages the mind in ways differently than, say, computer games.
Cordisco's Corner Store hosts monthly tournaments. There will be another